Hi everyone, welcome back to another one of my builds. Today I'm showing you a build that I did basically of a church renovation into a home. This is based off of a church that used to exist in my hometown but no longer stands. So I knew the basic layout of the first floor. It didn't actually have a second floor, so I just completely made the second floor. In the real build, it's just like a lofted area, so it's just open with like a little seating spot up there. But this features 2 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. However, 2 of the bathrooms are just half baths, so it's really mostly just two full bathrooms. It also has the kitchen on a platform, just because my thought was that would be where the stage was. So I didn't want to take the actual stage out. I thought it'd be kind of cool if you just like put the kitchen on top of the platform. So it does have a raised kitchen. Also, it has a very open spot at the top floor, just so that you can see down through the kitchen and living room area, just because I felt like that was a little bit accurate to the actual model of the church that actually existed. And in this area I wanted to have a bell tower, but obviously we don't have a bell of that size or even a bell item at all in the game, and I didn't want to have to download one single piece of CC and then make the whole build look like it's modded. So I went through and I found this clock from Get to Work or Get Famous, I'm not really sure which one. I ended up putting it on the floor below it just so that I could upsize it and then also just have the clock part sticking out, so it did actually look pretty good at the end of it. Right now it's too small, but I do end up moving it down a level just to make it stick up through the floor so that you can actually see just the clock part, because right now you can't even really see the clock part. I did stick with like a traditional siding and everything like that because I wanted it to look like a church but then also just be a home. I also placed a couple in here, 2 women together, so I think that's kind of cool that a gay couple lives in an old church. And also the windows are kind of placed a little bit weird. I do change the layout of the second floor, like I said, because it does end up just being 2 bedrooms and a bathroom on the corner there, and then just a half bath in the master bedroom. So it is a small house, but I could have made it larger. I just didn't want to. I wanted to have that open area there to the first floor. I also struggled a lot with this, and I think I kind of got confused and I forgot where I was going with it, but I ended up fixing it and it ended up looking great. So, and my thought too was that I was going to put a fireplace on the first floor, and I wanted to have the chimney going up all the way like you see in real houses, how the chimney goes through to the second floor obviously, but it wouldn't have fit right and it would have just looked funny, so I just left it and put a little chimney on the outside rather than on the inside. Also, here's me doing the little kitchen area on the platform. I did go for a more modern inside because I thought it'd be kind of cool for it to look more traditional on the outside, and then you walk in, it's a little bit more updated. I also didn't do cabinets just because I felt like they would have closed in the kitchen too much. I guess I could have just done them on the back wall, but I didn't end up doing any cabinets at all. And I built this before we got the update for the pond and stuff, so I would have put a pond in this build. I think it would have fit really well in the center where I put the fountain at the end of it, but obviously we didn't have that ability yet in The Sims 4, so there is no pond in this one, but I definitely would consider going back in and creating a pond instead of just a fountain, because really that was kind of more of the vibe that I was going for, but we didn't have that ability to do that at the time. I've recently got more into just the Sims 4 game and game packs with no CC, so I haven't really been building with CC for the last month or so, which is kind of nice because it's a little bit easier to make sure that my game isn't broken and everything. So that's good. I'm going through the stage of no CC right now, but I'm sure in a month or two I'll be back to my CC. I also discovered that I did miss a cheat when doing landscaping through debug. I was completely missing a cheat, and for some reason I just forgot it existed, but I got it figured out now. You'll see me use debug to create the landscaping. I can't remember how much this house actually ended up being, but it wasn't a ton, mostly because I used all the debug landscaping instead of like paying for all the flowers and stuff like that. So that definitely makes it a lot cheaper when you do it that way. You can see I used a lot of Dream Home Decorator, so this was probably like very recently after it came out. Also, I think the floors suit this really well. If you've ever been in a church, you know that they've always got hardwood floors and rugs all over the place. And I feel like these floors are very accurate for a church, at least where I live. Also, for some reason, I struggled so much with doing the trim around the exterior of the build, because I wasn't placing it the right way. I think I was just placing it down how you normally would without pressing shift or whatever it is that you press. So I had to go back in and delete some of that and then go back and place it the correct way. I also went pretty plain for the bedrooms, mostly because they aren't that big, so you couldn't really fit that many things in it. And I also didn't want it to look super cluttered because I was kind of going for more of like a staged home, like, you know, where they've just got the basic furniture with like a few plants here or there. I also feel like the Dream Home Decorator pack looks very much like staged home. And all the bathrooms are pretty much the exact same, aside from like one of them having a tub and one of them having a shower. Also, there is a weird shadow on that sink, and I'm not sure why. I tried moving it around and it still stayed. I think it's just because it's a diagonal wall, so there's that little thing that was a bit annoying. I also wanted to do the porch a little bit more interesting and have it two different sides to walk up. For a building that is for the public, like a church would be, they usually have more than one like stair up to the door, or they at least have more than one entrance, or like a ramp and a stairs, and you know, like that. So I did two different staircases up to the deck, and I made the deck fairly large. I don't think that the deck would ever really be this large. This isn't how it looked in the church that existed where I live, but it is fairly close. It's just that you can't really get the type of step that it actually was that existed where I live. So this was as close as I could really get to it. And there's all that debug landscaping that I struggled for so long to find. Those two green bushes are the ones that I had been looking for forever, and I knew that they existed in debug, but like I said, I did not have the proper cheat for it, so I could never find it. See, this is me placing a pond down, and I was like, no, it's not really the shape that I'm wanting it to be. So I ended up just doing a fountain, but now that you can create your own like custom ponds, it would have been perfect for it, but It is what it is. Also, looking at this now, after I've already recorded it and built it, I can tell that that gravel circle is not centered. But we can just ignore that for now because I'm not going back in and changing it. Actually, I might actually shift it a little bit because that's quite off-centered. Oh, okay, I do. Never mind. We're good. I really do love these like lush garden areas. I think they look so good and they just are so satisfying to my eyes for some reason. Like just that full greenery is so nice. And I was actually gonna do stone around the fountain and just like leave it empty, but I'm really glad I didn't do that because I think it looks so much better with all the bushes around it. I probably also should have gone in and done shading and landscaping under that tree, but I didn't end up doing that. I don't think, at least. So one thing about terrain paint that I don't love is that it's not very crisp of an edge when you paint it on. Like it's got a little bit of like a blurred edge to it, which is great when you're doing like dirt and things like that. But there is all of the packs that I used, along with the price, which is just under 50,000 simoleons. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Thank you so much.